Hello and welcome everybody on YouTube. Let's go there. So yeah, if you're watching me live, well, if you're catching a replay, make sure to hit subscribe, my friend. Click the bell so you know whenever I go live to answer your Power BI question. This is another episode of Talk Power BI, and I also have some of the Learn Power BI members with me on the phone. Hold on, guys. I'll come around and say hello to you. Let me just check all the stuff on.
Ja, dit is hem. Want hij zit ook in Amerika.
Ja, hij zit bij live en als jullie
Bij
zijn...
hun is het 's morgens 9 uur.
Ja, ja, ja.
Eentje wat zit of zo.
Oh boy,
Ja, dit is wel...
there's already a discussion going on.
Uh,
Okay, I'll wait for folks to join on. Let's go to phones. Let's go. So I see Michael, I see Steve, and I see Tony. How are you guys? Can you guys hear me?
Luke talking, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Michael,
Ja,
what's going
hallo
on?
Avi.
How are you doing, my friend?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
You hear?
Yeah,
Can you?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. No, fantastic.
You're in beautiful Italy, right? If I remember correctly.
The Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay.
Close to Italy.
Okay. All right. How have things been for you? I don't think we've talked in a while.
Yeah. Now I haven't assisted your lessons and Q&A not the last months, but I'm daily working on Power BI.
Oh, love that.
And I have here a girlfriend next to me.
Okay.
And she doesn't love me anymore because every day you talk about Power BI.
I know, she probably hates me, right? Like, who's this guy? Avi. Yeah.
So now the big master is talking to me, so I must obey my master.
Oh, no, man, I don't want you to get in trouble, you know?
Can you see me of her on? Yes.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, but I put my camera on. Wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, and yeah, I was gonna say, my friend. Yeah, I want you to stay out of trouble.
So yeah, here we are.
There we are. Okay, nice. So I know it's
Avi Singh.
Yeah. Nice.
This
So
is
it's
Power BI, buddy. Yeah.
This is great. Hello. What's her name? What's her name?
Maria.
Maria. Okay, Maria, Michael, good to have you on, my friend. So tell me a little bit more about, you said you use Power BI daily, so I know you run your own business, and the last time we talked, you said you were trying to use it for your own business, and of course, maybe you kind of help others as well. So where do you find yourself using it? Are you using it mostly for your own business, or are you doing like a lot of consulting for others?
Now I do it. I have a small business, and just 2 weeks ago I could get access to my own data. Yeah, it sounds strange, but I had to make contact with ODBC connector. We had to use, and with the other system we had to use an Unix. Unix. Weet het nou? The normal server, what everybody has. Weet het nou?
Well, so you finally got access to your data.
SQL,
finally connect
normal
to it.
SQL servers.
Okay, great.
And our experience was in to make contact with the ODBC. Now that there was the problem, we had to slow down the Power BI version to 32 bits and not 64 bits. And then it worked. That took a month, 2 months before we find that out.
Oh boy, that can be frustrating. I know on our challenge somebody was talking about they had a custom connector for Visual Studio Team Services, and it broke after the most recent release. It sometimes can be tricky, but that's great. That's terrific. Awesome, man. So yeah, I mean, you're kind of inside the course. So if yeah, whatever you need help inside the journey, tap on me. All right.
I have a quite simple question.
Sure, go for it.
If you have an ID, a product ID, or what kind of ID, and it's a numerical ID, yeah, what do you give the data type? Numerical or text?
Yeah, good one. I want to make sure. Okay.
I think it doesn't
Product
matter so
ID.
much. Yeah, you can do both, I think, but what's
Very good question, Michael. Yeah, this is a good one. Uh, so let's think about it. For one, it I'll give you two answers, right? One is it doesn't matter as long as they match across tables. So in your data table, if you keep it as text, and your lookup table, it is text, then they're going to
yeah,
connect. Of course, if you mess that
yeah,
up, if one of them
yeah,
is
that's my
text, one of the number,
experience. Yeah,
right?
yeah, no problem.
But
Yeah.
there is a other answer which is a little bit deeper. And folks, if you're watching me on YouTube, what's up with you guys? I've never seen you so quiet. Say hello, talk to me, put in the chat window, all right? Okay. And I'm glad to see a lot of Learn Power BI members. I'll just give a shout out to all of you because I forget who I said hi to earlier. So Heather, Michael, of course, we're talking. Nicholas, Ronald, Steve, and Tony. Hey, if you guys want to turn on your webcam, it can be a party. We can all hang out. And Michael, raise your wine glass. I saw Maria holding one. I know you have next to you. Just
I
say,
drink
oh,
Heineken
beer. Perfect. Yep.
because it's
Yeah.
very hot in Holland. It's tropical.
Really? What? Wow. Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do was go in here, and I should do this before every call anyway, and just start one of these guys. Okay. So let's come back to this. So the first answer doesn't matter. The other answer is that I think you would prefer to be numeric, but I usually set don't summarize. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
talking about when I say right? Yeah. So
I
numbers,
understand it.
if you
I
have
think that's a good one.
yeah, so
Also.
I prefer numeric and set it to don't summarize. Why though? Well, I think the little bit that I've read when I've delved deeper into this and how this stores and how it compresses, that if it's a text value, I think it tries to build a hash for it. And it looks for kind of the unique values and it builds a numerical hash. So if you store it as text, it might be, and especially if it's an ID field, it might be kind of wasteful, right? I mean, so that's the reason that I would avoid text. That I think this will be a good test. Ooh, this will be a fun test, my friends. All right, Manindra is on Red Racer 77. Uh, yeah, hi there too. All right, cool. So let's see. Will be a cool test to take a really large data set. I don't think you would see it in a small one, but we can just frankly generate numbers from 1 to 10 trillion or something like that, or one. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how big a trillion is. So let's go with like billion. So 1 to 1 billion numbers, right? Just sequential, and then store it as a numeric type, and then store it as text. And so yeah, per my understanding, that text it'll try to create a hash. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm a little bit on the shaky ground here because I'm not sure if that hash is created in memory. It probably created in memory. It's not created like in the file itself. So I'm not sure, but certainly it's a little bit of a risk there. So I would say number is better. Number is better. Okay. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah, to avoid that possibility that it tries to create a hash for it. All right, cool. Awesome. Let's see. What do we have? So Michael, yeah, hang in there. Let's see. I was trying to. How do I do? I have too many chat windows here. Okay, Heather is saying no camera. No worries. It's all right. So Heather, actually, let's go to so folks.
Hey, Avi, maybe you can ask to put the camera on from the others because yeah, you have to know where to click to put
Yeah,
your camera on.
yeah, and it takes 2 clicks, right? A lot of people are thrown off by that. You click on webcam and it just doesn't turn it on. You have to kind of click it again. Yep, yeah, guys. So if you can, that would be great. I know Heather said no camera, but it's all right. So cool. So folks, yeah, we just hang out here and we round robin. One round goes to on the phone, then we go to YouTube. So let's see what we have on YouTube. And it's a thin crowd today, and that's okay. I was a little worn out too, my friend. So been running that 5-day challenge. It was pretty intense, but loved all the participation. Oh gosh, I had such great conversations. I was just reflecting back to that. So I think if you go to the challenge page now, it lets you sign up for kind of the wait list. That's what it's supposed to be. So learnpowerbi.com/challenge. We'll check it out. So you can sign up for the next one when we run it again. But yeah, it was pretty epic. So yeah, it's okay if you guys are taking a break. But I'm back on for the Friday Talk Power BI. And Gene is here. Gotham says hello. Gene says hi from California. Jay Murphy says hello from Boston. Awesome. And let's see if we have a question. We do have our first question from YouTube. And it comes from Manindra. Okay, so we will go 001152 and I'll move here. Manindra is asking, I work in HR analytics for about 200 people. One master table, another is transaction which captures team movements. I want to show month on month headcount trend. Can it be done in DAX? I'll say Power BI. Let's not jump to, so M and DAX, there are 2 factors. It depends. It takes a little bit of practice to kind of figure out that which one do we need to use. So I'll just say how to show HR monthly trend, active employees, something like that, right? Headcount trend, monthly headcount trend. So I feel we have tackled this inside our class, but I would really need a look at your data. So can you upload a file for me? And it's easiest if you upload it to like OneDrive, Dropbox, and stick the link in here and remove the HTTP in the link, because I think it blocks you. YouTube wouldn't let you post it. So if you can post a file. Yeah, so Murphy's saying, yeah, HR sample dashboard shows it quite well, but you know, how do you build it with your own data set? Let's see who else is there. Marcelo says hello from Brazil. So Manindra, let me come back to you and see if you can. If you don't have a file, if you say I can't provide a file, then I'll try to build a quick one and maybe guide me through that. And meanwhile, let me hit up the folks on the phone again. And man, the GoToMeeting makes the chat window so small. Okay, so it looks like Steve has a question. Steve? And Joseph Soriano is on. Hello, my friend. So Steve, how's it going?
It's going fine. Going good.
All right, glad to hear.
So
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Tell me what you want now.
Well, I haven't uploaded the file because I just thought of this question just a second ago. But I was working on something in Excel for my boss, who's not real. He likes things in Excel and he likes them simple.
Yeah.
So I had some data that I had put in a Excel file.
Okay.
Which is kind of the way I.
Yeah.
A lot of ways I could have done this. This is not the way I really like it, but I have data in Excel file that I pull into a model in another Excel file. So it reads from that. And then I decided, you know, for the purposes of sending this to him, it would be better if the data resided in the file that had the model.
Okay.
So what this is, where I'm getting to is, say a model is built using the query editor, where you are the source is an Excel file, and now I'd like that to be a worksheet within the Excel file that contains the model. You follow me?
Yeah.
So instead of going outside to pull it in, so it goes to changing the source in the M code.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a real problem, and let's see if we can kind of solve it here. And so I'm not gonna use kind of the Excel, but it's the same problem.
Yeah.
So the problem that I have here is I have my calendar table right now is connected to AdventureWorks Access, and I want to change it. I want to instead bring it in using my ultimate calendar table, right? So let me pull that up. But of course, I'm using the existing table. What am I trying to do here? Hold on. This is really weird. Oh, there we go. Oh, now it opened through Windows. Great. Yeah, let me fish the ultimate calendar one.
I can upload this file real quick if you want.
No, I think I'm really close. Okay. All right. So what happens if I do bring in a new table in here, and from Excel, from something else, from the same file, different file, doesn't matter. Actually, we could have done it, mocked it up here. So let's say I connect to a new calendar, and I say this is my new calendar, right? So whatever. I mean, now it's in the same file or something like that, and you say 1/1/2018, 1/2/2018, and Jan. Okay. All right. So, and if you kind of bring the new thing in, and then if you delete this, the old one, if you delete this guy, and if you rename this one, right? So you rename this one, it still breaks things in your model. It would, you know, kind of remove connections, and your reports would break and so forth, right? So we don't want that. And the way to replace then, though, is I finally did get my calendar table. So if I just want to swap things out, I'll do this. Hold on. So I'll bring in the new table, right? So connect to it. Your new data set resides in the same model. So just say, you know, from table, and that's inside your query. But then open that in the advanced editor, copy the whole thing, and edit the old one, which was an external file, and paste the new query in. And I'm assuming that the field names, the column names are the same. And if they are,
yes,
then
they are.
It's not gonna know, right? So this is kind of the interesting thing about the way M and DAX works. Kind of the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So DAX, as far as the DAX side of things is concerned, M is a black box, right? So what M does inside there, it doesn't really know. So if you changed all the query underneath, when DAX gets it, I was like, well, looks like the same table, same columns. I don't know any different. So that's the way I would do it, right? So I would just
Sure.
Go in there,
So
paste a new query.
So just to kind of, I'll repeat it back. So if I build a query
Yeah.
that brings the
New location.
the data into so that it brings it into the model, maybe stores it as a table or something.
Wait,
Or
you would just do it in the query editor. You don't need to build it in the model. So
no, in the query editor.
Yep.
And then take that code that
Yep.
pulled that from an Excel.
Yep. The new location. Yeah. Yep. From inside
location, and just kind of basically
yep.
have a hybrid of the two M codes.
No, not hybrid. You override it, right? So this is the new one.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, and it's pointing to your new location, right? In your case,
right.
New location inside Excel, but it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it went from SQL Server to a local file, from a local file to a SharePoint list, or something changed, right? The source changed. So you build this new query, and then you just say, go there, copy the whole code, go to the old one, and just delete everything that's there, and supplant it with the new one, right? So we got the code from this, stuck it in there, and now this points to the new location.
Yeah.
And the best part, now you're done with this thing you created. It's already in here, so you just delete it. You don't even have to uncheck it. Just delete it and it's gone. All right, try that.
Okay, I think I'm following it. Yeah, I'll do that. I was worried about having to rebuild all those measures and things.
Yes.
And I didn't want to do that.
I mean, I know I've learned this in a painful way. When I said, I'm going to go to M and delete it and add a new table, call it the same thing, it still broke everything. So I realized you have to go do it in the advanced editor, and then it doesn't know. Right. Then M doesn't know.
All right.
Terrific.
I'll take a shot at it. Thank you. Okay, good.
All right, my friends. On YouTube, let's check in with you. Human resource sample for Power BI. Take a tour. All right. I'm not take a tour. Let's see. Let's go there. I don't know how to take a tour. Where is it? Oops. Here. Help. Clearly, I haven't done this in a while. Is it online? Maybe I should just Google it. HR sample Power BI. Ooh, oh, nice. Thank you. All right, Manindra, J. Murphy, thanks for helping out. So look at this. I mean, HR, new hire count. And let's see, what kind of data do we have? Oh, I'm not sure what to open. Excel workbook? Let's try the Excel workbook. And let's hit back, and now we're taking Manindra's question in earnest. Where did they go? All right, guys. Hey, if you're just joining me live, just pop in a hello. I love hearing who's on. Marcelo has a question. Yeah, let's see. Marcelo, I'm going to get to you next. I'm trying to help Manindra. And Jay is helping me out too. Love that. Okay, cool. It's coming up. Eamon says hello. Oh my gosh, what is that? Is it trying to load Power View? Why would they? How? What is this? Where is the data? Oh gosh. This hasn't I guess that was a mistake. Let's look at the PBIX file. Yeah. Actually, I would say in defense of Power View, I mean, I know I cringed, but because it's old, Power View was really good, but it was good in SharePoint, which is where it was first born. When they stuck it or tried to stick it inside Excel, it wasn't fun. I never liked that part. But in SharePoint, I kind of liked it. I liked it for its simplicity. mean, there were only like 3 things you could do in there, you know, so you couldn't go wrong. Now in Power BI, you open up the panel here, and it's like, oh my gosh, like you have to find. There's a search button that tells you something. I mean, it's all good. I'm happy. All right, wow, we have a lot of folks on the phone today. Farhan says hi. Hello, my friend, PowerView. Let's see if that opened. Maybe it didn't. Sample just the data set. This is what I should have done. Just the data set. Okay, I'll download that one too. Oh, I already... Yeah, so Jay Murphy, I'm not having much luck with this. Oh, the Power BI file finally opened up, but okay, I'm gonna be patient. Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit live on Facebook. Let me see how Facebook. All right, hello on Facebook. We're live now. Sorry, I started your feed late, so. Oh, I remember this. So yeah, I've worked with finance, and I've worked a little bit with HR directly as well. But finance folks reported on HR numbers as well. So so let's see. Let's check in with Manindra. So go check out this file and see if this helps you. All right. So yeah, it's just showing kind of new hires and all this stuff, active and separation. Let's look at the data set. So does it have employee inactivity? Employee. Hire date. Huh. I wonder where the activity is coming from. Let's see. Actives and separation. So that's coming from, I'm not sure. Okay, got it. Employee. Yeah, this is, so far it's looking good. Calculate, filter, employee count. Yeah. So Jay Murphy, thanks for pointing us out to that. So Manindra, I'm hoping you're like good. You're set. All right. So check that out and see what helps. So let me circle back to on the phone, and we have a crowd now. Guys, this is the biggest we've had, which is awesome. Asher, Eamon, Heather, Joseph. So phone. Go ahead, just speak up. That's usually easier. Sometimes I missed your chat messages. So if you have a question, a comment, or thought, just go ahead and talk to me.
Avi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Avi? Yeah, it's Eamon. G'day.
Hey, Eamon.
Hello. How you doing? All right?
Yep.
Oh,
good.
Avi, just a really quick one. I'm not sure what it was. I believe it might have been day 4. You know, when you were looking at the hair salon, and you ended up you changed things up such that it went from more of a clunky model where we were adding a whole lot of letters together.
Yes.
That was truly elegant. Honestly, that was outstanding. That's not why I called in, but that was, when I saw that, I thought, wow, outstanding.
Oh, I mean, it surprised me, and the process surprised me, and I'm like, I mean, I've always kind of talked about it, Agile BI, but guys, here's the truth, right? It's so easy to give everybody else advice. It's so much harder to follow it, you know. So I have the same challenges as everybody. In fact, one of my friends, he laughs at me. And he throws the term at me. He said, the cobbler has no shoes. Like, he was talking to me about my business. And he said, Avi, you should have Power BI models up the wazoo, helping you oversee all parts of your business. And the fact is I don't. And I mean, I do feel slightly embarrassed by it. But yeah, I don't. I mean, I focus so much on kind of helping students, helping clients. I don't have my own stuff together. So yeah, I mean, I always have ideas on, oh yeah, I want to, you know, kind of basically all the students in my program, if I did have that model, what it's going to help me do is, and that would be a nice thing, I do want to get there, is as people come into it, just help me monitor either who's, you know, it's kind of the bell curve, right? So when I teach on site, that's what I do anyway. So you got to watch out for kind of folks who are here, because yeah, you want to engage them more, and you want to watch out for folks who are here because they need a little more help. So that model is coming. So yeah, I struggled that. So that whole real Power BI thing just kind of drove the message home for me that
Totally.
we kind of peeled the onion and we got to this elegant model. And yeah, so there's so much, man. I mean, there was so much learning in there. I mean, there was this Agile BI, like goes step by step. Peel the onion. Of course, later, Kimberly talked to me and she talked about how it was the same for her. She was the peeling the onion along with us. It wasn't like we were learning more about her business. She was also learning more about her own business and how to think about it as we went through the process. And one of my big mentors, the guy who taught me everything I know about data modeling, he used this term refactoring, which is what we did, where nothing changed on the visual side, right? And Kimberly couldn't have told anything, right? It looks the same, but man, under the hood, it was really cool. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
No worries. That wasn't why I called in, but I
Okay.
just gotta say, I just wanted to mention.
Oh,
that
cool.
because
Well, sorry I took so long.
wow.
So yeah, if you had a question, go ahead.
I do.
Yeah.
The question is this: actually, it's two questions.
Okay.
First question is on debugging. You know, when you build out a model for a client and then they use it and it's fine because it's based on the existing data, and then rolling forward maybe 1 or 2 months, it's, little things are not actually working. Do you have a process whereby, you go through a particular, process or protocol where you think, okay, look, I got to debug. I'm going to do the following 5 or 6, 10 easy steps.
Yeah.
And then if you still haven't worked it out, you do other stuff. And if so, do you mind sharing that?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more. Like, often do I get where they say this number is wrong? Is that kind of thing you're talking about, or something is erroring out? Which kind of thing is it?
Yeah. So, like for instance, it may be that you build out a model, it totally works. Then over the next couple of months, more transactions come into the business, and they open up new accounts that you hadn't sort of taken into consideration and stuff. And I just wonder, like, I can fix it. It just seems to take more time than I would care.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I can't share that stuff with you because it's client.
Yeah, but give me an idea of the kind of failures you see, right? So
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. The failures that I'll be looking at is where data is not being pulled across, and one instance would have been that for whatever reason the accounts that had never gotten used before are getting used now, and let me back up. So
okay.
What I'm looking for more, not on the model I'm looking at, is do you have a particular way of debugging, or indeed you never have to debug because stuff you built for sort of like.
Yes, it's the latter, my friend. I never have to debug.
You're the man. You're the man.
Oh,
we should all be able to say that.
Yeah, no, of course it'll be a lie. It's a lie for me too. So I debug all the time. In fact, I design that way. So man. So sometimes, so that's why one of my favorite students, I would say, Keith Nail, he said, to teach is to learn twice. I'll write that down. That's good stuff. To learn twice. So yeah, I do stuff that I don't even realize I'm doing. Like, after teaching this stuff for a while, I realized that I would joke about how much time do I take to name the measures, and then I realized, oh, I guess that must be important. I should just tell my students to do that. Like, guys, be very careful when you name your measures. Take your time. Anyway, so there are a bucket of errors. Let's kind of classify them, right? So classification. Let's do that. Man, I've never done this before, so this is on the fly, but this is amazing because it's in my head, and hopefully I'll get some of it down.
Please.
So one is kind of outright error in refresh, right? Where it fails to refresh, it gives you a pop-up, and of course, if it's automatic, then hopefully it'll send you some kind of email saying, hey, the refresh failed. That's one. Let's keep going. What happened there? Okay, so error in refresh, and that's very in your face. The other one is missing. Oh gosh, so it's missing. Shoot, I'll come back and revise it.
Yeah, sure.
So let's bring up our famous adventure works. Wait, this is not it. This is the HR one. Could have used that though. So if we go back to this guy, still not it. Yeah, there we go. So, so either they can come in and say, Avi, I'm not seeing Mexico here, you know?
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
that's to me in my mind that's like a data table thing, right?
Okay.
Or they either say that the number is not there, like I don't see yeah, actually maybe we can club it together. So missing data, lookup tables or data tables, right? So for example, I do not see Germany. I do not see the current month or a specific month. Usually date-wise, like I don't see current month, you know, so it's not there, something like that. So there's missing some data. The last one, which is perhaps the most interesting, is the number is wrong. And a variation of this, so on YouTube, my friends, let me know if you've seen this, which is, oh, you're gonna love this. Number looks wrong. So yeah, raise your hands if you've heard that. Like, it looks wrong. I'm like, what? I mean, what do you mean? Yeah, sales are low. That looks wrong. And usually you hear it from the sales team. Like, no, there's something with the data. I'm like, maybe you should pick up the phone and call some clients. So yeah, so and maybe there are more. So the error. So one, let's step back here. One best practice that I follow and would advise is this. So there's a reason I say cooking in the kitchen. Kitchen. So which is clean shape transform. It all happens in the query editor, and then math in DAX. And I'm really struggling with like a food or cooking related analogy for this one. I sometimes say a buffet, but you know it doesn't work. So math and DAX, cooking in kitchen, math and DAX, and for one that simplifies things for me when it comes time to debug. And you should expect when you design something, you should write it thinking that debugging. And of course, I'll come back. I'm a huge believer in this. If you look at the world of programmers, I've rubbed shoulders with some, never really went beyond kind of VBA programming and stuff, so kind of think I can call myself a real programmer. But the difference between a good and a great programmer was always, like a telling difference was that they were really good at commenting their code. I mean, they would not just write the 3 lines that would fix the thing, but they would say, oh yeah, I mean, this is what I did. So they're really good at commenting. So you got to get good at that too. And I'll talk about how. But let's come back here. So when it's error in refresh, I mean, that one is kind of easy. I know where to look, right? So I'll go check in the query editor, and then I would do this. So I would, of course, so I'll just say kind of edit queries, and I'll say refresh. So if you go, so sometimes the error does have information, and then you zero you in, or otherwise I'll say refresh all, and I'll see which ones are broken, right? So sometimes the errors are clear, sometimes they're not, and I'll just see, let's say these ones end up with that broken icon, right?
Yeah.
And, and then what I would do is I would go to the query dependencies view and try to understand like which is the source one, because often I build things in kind of Lego blocks where this one depends on that and that one depends on that and so forth. Where did that table go? It's weird. I lost it somewhere now. Oh, now it wouldn't let me click on it. Great. Where is it? Shoot. I might have to kill it, but let's see if we can. So anyway, you get the idea. If we go to
I do. Yeah.
modeling query dependencies view, then I'll see. So that'll help me trace. But again, I mean, it's much easier because I can kind of focus on the M side of things, and I hate this is how it's work. And that is also the reason that generally I don't like sometimes people, if they're moving from SQL or moving from Excel, they would split their solution. Like they will solve half of it in Power BI, half in something else, or not half and half, but you know, they're like, oh yeah, I did that in SQL, and believe me, I've done that, right? So I'll just say, as I was learning Power BI, frankly, there was no query editor back then, so it was kind of hard. So I'll say, yeah, I'm gonna, and again, we're not talking about math. Math should never be done here. I wouldn't say never, but there's some exceptions, but generally should not be done there. Math should always be DAX, but something else, some clean shape transform, but sometimes I would do it in SQL. And then it's in Power BI, but then you're stuck because I'm like, oh, you have two places to check, and that gets so expensive so fast. It just takes so much of your time. So I usually simplify it, keep it in one place. So query editor, so yeah, editor and refresh, and it kind of guides you. I mean, once you know which one to look at, you can go to the last step, say go to error and all that stuff. So that works that way. Usually I can figure that out. Let's talk about missing data, and I do need to get my file back somehow. Okay, might have to restart Power BI. Hold on. Did that work? Hold on, guys. Wow. Mario is on. Nice. What happened there? Oh. Finally. Alright, so if it's missing data, and again, I'm trying to find a file I can use. Yeah, so let's look at one specific subcase of this, which was brought in earlier, either in our Q&A or the group one. And is the data how to detect blanks are from data table or lookup table? So this was a good question because it kind of symbolizes the process that I usually take. So let's try that. And we're gonna go to our queries and we're gonna do something funky. So let's go to our sales one, and we're gonna say wherever sales territory key. Let's see, what is 6? 6 is Canada. So Canada, folks in Canada, if you're joining, no offense, but we're gonna blow that away. So sales territory key, and again, I'm mocking like a problem scenario. So I'll just say where there's 6, and make it null. Null. Okay. Oh gosh, what happened there? That should have been far easier than that. So replace values, maybe 6 with I don't know why it's showing this binary thing. Okay, we'll try something else. Let's try product key. This was much easier last time. Let's see, sales. Let's try it one more time. Replace values. 0 with no. It's killing me. Why is it doing this? It makes it a binary. Maybe let's try this. What if we change it to text and then replace it? Better. Huh. Whew. Don't know what that was about. Ah, so much better. Okay, so there are some null coming in the data table, and then we'll go in here and we'll say product, and we'll remove some of them between. Greater than 340 is less than 350. Yeah, I mean, gosh, this one it can be a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I'm trying to generalize and categorize the things that I look for. I think generally I look for, so we'll come back and solve this, but generally I'm looking for that, is it a data issue, right? Is the underlying data a problem, or is it an issue with my model or DAX? That's the only thing I'm trying to figure out at this point. So let's say, so first thing I would usually look for, what happened here? There we go. Country. Huh. Oh, it was product. Yeah. So let's go to product. So instead of country here, I'm gonna add product category here. Only bikes. Is my data filtered? I was expecting more, but okay. Anyway, so bikes is so there's a big chunk of blank here, right? So I just want to figure out where is that blank coming from, and often I would say a tip is I do debugging in Excel. I do this big time. So I would connect to the model from Excel, and because I just feel more comfortable there. I think pivot table is so much faster to kind of do these things. Like in pivot table, I could have right-clicked here and said keep this as filter. Simple as that, right? In here, I have to go hunt through the filter and say, okay. I mean, it's just too many clicks. Believe me, it's just every small step is, I mean, you're going to be faster in Excel. So often I do my debugging in Excel. So here now I'm filtered to blank, and I don't really need. And another thing that I do is when I'm filtering for data issues is so the tip here, use the simplest measure. Simplest measure. I couldn't emphasize it more. So when you're figuring out, like, I mean, where is it? Is it coming in the data? Is it something like that? And use the simplest measure. Usually sum or count rows are my favorite, right? Not even distinct count. And if you don't have that, just add that. Like I'm just gonna add a simple sum. Maybe you're not showing the simple ones in the report. Just use that. Because sometimes what happens, like imagine it's not showing June because somehow I mean, that's a bad example, but because you would never write it that way, but your measure was excluding June or something like that. So by using a simple measure, you kind of say, no, it's just a sum. That's all. And it can't go wrong with that. So now we have a simple measure, and we got filtered to category blank. And next, so again, this category is coming in from the lookup table. So I'm going to bring in what I want to see. What is the product key on the data table side? Okay, no, I don't want to count. Awesome. So now you can see that I have one set of numbers where the product key is blank in sales. So this one is an underlying data issue. I mean, if the product key is blank in the data, I can't make it up, right? Unless maybe somebody teaches me or tells me that, oh yeah, you use this as a default, something like that, right? So this I would say is data issue, and I would go back and ask them, say, hey, in your table, not my model, in your table, in your data coming in, this one is blank. Tell me about it, right? And of course, if you have some ID, like if you have the detail, you can kind of export it. And again, Excel, it's usually easy. You just double click that number, and it gives you all the underlying rows, right? So actually, let's just do that over here. So learn Power BI. So we're gonna go to Excel, our good friend.
And just while that's opening up, Avi, so
Yeah.
you brought the product key from the sales table, not from the lookup table. And
yeah, I mean,
just again,
yeah.
to see, is there an underlying problem with the data?
Yeah, so think about it this way. Instead of category, what if I brought in the product key from the lookup table? And unfortunately, they're not. They should have been. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm seeing, yeah, this is the product key from the lookup table, and then I filter to where that is blank. So the lookup table says can't compute, right? And then I'm saying, why is that happening? Well, if the data table, the product key was blank, the lookup table can't help it, right? But then there are some records. So again, the first one is a data problem. The second one could be slightly different. So this will say, well, it is in the sales table, so that's not the problem. Sales table is looking good. So you have to ask yourself, why are these missing in the product table? And then you have to see how you're actually building the product table. And then, so let's say it's possible that you're building it and somehow you made a mistake and like, oh shoot, I had filtered these things, I didn't realize that. And then you fix that. Or, sometimes you would have to go back to the client and say, hey, you have your sales coming in from this table, your product information is stored in this table, but it doesn't match. It's missing these keys, and you tell me why that's happening. Oh gosh, I had a glimmer of something else. Or you can compensate for it depending on the scenario. You can, so you can compensate for it by saying my product lookup table. So we're the masters of the universe here. We exactly decide how we build it. So I'm gonna build it from the source product table, and I'm gonna combine it with the keys, the missing keys. And maybe you substitute some value there. Like obviously you can't actually put a product name, but product name is like missing or something like that, or NA, so that it doesn't look blank. So you kind of get to choose. So that's one set. But let's see. So so the thought that I had was when you're going back and you were saying that the accounts that are not being used before, like if there are new things, they're not showing up. Well, typically, anything new should automatically show up because, it just, like imagine if there were more sales and everything was working right, obviously they would show up, they should show up in your query. And if the product table at the source is getting updated with new products, it'll also show up. The only case would be if you somehow maybe used a filter or something. So be careful with those. Don't feel like, it's okay to bring in all the products in the system, unless it gets too crazy, or all the accounts in the system, not just the ones that are kind of being reported on right now. Okay. So let's, I think we're pretty close on this one. So simplest measure, the number looks wrong. Well, this is usually a DAX expedition. So this usually happens. So if it's a simple measure, if this is a simple measure, then you're back to solving this. Like what's happening with my data, typically, right? If it's a simple measure. If it's a complex measure, then it's just DAX. And I don't want to kind of make it sound simple. Well, maybe it is. I mean, so you've seen the ICANN principles. Folks is on the YouTube channel as well. I forgot what ICANN stands for. So you look at the input filter context, you see what calculate and friends are doing. That was a late modification because SumX and all that stuff, they do different things as well. I think applied relationships and so forth, right? So you just step through that and solve it. And of course, DAX, what I also do is build measures in Lego blocks. So
Yeah.
if my complex measure is somehow a function of like kind of measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, I would put all of them on a matrix and see, oh, measure 1 looks good, awesome, measure 2 looks good, oops, measure 3 is not calculating, so I know exactly what to fix. Now if you don't end up doing this, so I saw Matt Allington teaches his course and all that stuff. So, and you can also use variables. Those work great to also go step by step. I still feel that this is easier to debug, but you can kind of do that too using variables. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we covered a lot of ground. Hopefully it helps. Eh?
Yes, thanks, Avi.
Awesome.
Thanks very much.
Okay, it definitely looks like I have material for recording an additional module for my advanced libraries. Like, hey, how to debug? Here's the general approach. Cool.
Perfect. Thanks, Avi.
Awesome. All right, my friends. What's happening on Facebook? Manindra, gosh, you didn't have to post an email. What is I miss? Oh, you're chatting with Jim Murphy. Okay, cool. Yeah, so the HR report, just Google it if you want. Sample human resources. Can I stick that in there? So this is for Manindra. I don't know if it'll let me. So I'll remove the HTTP. There we go. At least it let me send it. Let me just try see if it sends me. Oh well. It did let me send the link. So you have the link. Yeah. Yeah. So Sam is saying there's always a way to build it better, and this happens to us. Expect this to happen. You're gonna look back at the models you built a year ago, 3 months ago, 1 month ago, and you'll go, huh? Why the heck did I do that? Yep. Practice, yeah. And guys, I love kind of real data solving. I mean, it has to be, yeah, real projects, nothing like it. Oh, I see. So Joachim, I think, kicked off that thread. I'm reading backwards. So folks, if you have any questions, just go ahead and post it now. Right, so I'll get to it. It's your turn before I hit the folks on the phone again, the Learn Power BI members. Oh. Huh. Jim Murphy saying, when will Power BI get a proper IDE, integrated development environment? Did I get that right? What about Visual Studio? Do you think that's good enough? Because you can use Visual Studio to develop these models. Oh wait. The funny thing is, the Visual Studio development environment doesn't look much different than this. It's the same relationship view, the same table view, the same DAX. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm not a developer, so I can't. I'm really happy with the environment. Sometimes I do hear others, like somebody had commented on one of my videos where I was talking about the importance of the relationship view, and I said, guys, this is the heart of your model. This is it. Keep it clean, and you have to arrange it in a specific way. Don't have them be like randomly distributed. And so the person said that it is important, and Avi, I agree with you, but then why the heck aren't there options here to align, do grids and that sort of stuff, or auto layout or something like that? So yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the interface here, but I've kind of grown up with it. It's kind of like I know my son is 14-year-old, my daughter is 9. You don't really see them grow up. You know, of course, once in a while you look at like old pictures and stuff. But when I visit India, that's where I'm from, I see my cousins or nephews and nieces now, and I go, whoa, right? So it's one of those things where I feel at home with this. Tell me what's your biggest pet peeve in the ID here, right? If you're talking about this, like, I don't know, yeah, I feel at home. So what's like what's your biggest frustration? Like, this feature is new, and this is a lifesaver. This wasn't there. This was slightly frustrating, I would say, but it wasn't like end of the world kind of thing. So it was okay. So yeah, Jay Murphy, Jay, I don't know what to call you. V says hello. Tell me, which is your biggest pet peeve in the ID? And I'll come back and check that. All right, let's check in on the phones. My friend who is on, I saw a few beeps. I don't know if people joining or leaving. Eamon, Joseph, Michael, Ronald, Tony, do you have any questions or comments? Go ahead and speak up. That's the easiest.
Avi, it's Eamon again, and it's just one last comment because I don't want to hog your whole lesson.
Okay.
And this is just something that if you're not doing it, I think many of the people in the audience should seriously consider it. When you build out a model on, and particularly if it's a couple of tabs in the model, you can actually insert a video explaining to any particular user, particularly these new users, where they think, when they look at it, they got like a breakdown of tragic. So you can actually build out some video very quickly, like 3 to 5 minute video on each of the tabs, explaining precisely how all this integration works, so that for the newbies out there, if ever they get a little bit stuck, they just click on the embedded video on each tab, and it explains in detail. Actually, I think it's a really, really cool piece of kit. Really, I do. And not only can you explain what the person is actually seeing and how to use it, you could also explain the monthly or quarterly results by keeping it sort of short and snappy, just highlighting the key area. So if people aren't using that at the moment, they should seriously consider it, because essentially you're with anyone who's working with your model, but indeed not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does, although I do have some reservations as well. And I'll ask you about it and ask you how it has worked in practice. So, first of all, how the heck do you embed a video? Is it a custom visual? What is it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, in the dashboard?
Well, yes. If you put it, I think, let me see.
I know how to do it in the dashboard. Can you do it in the report?
Do it in the dashboard. Yeah, you can put it in the report by inserting, I think if you do a text box and then include a hyperlink.
Hyperlink. Okay, got it.
The hyperlink will either sit in one of two locations. If it's sensitive, most of the stuff is sensitive, you probably want to save it within the organization, on their own network.
Yeah.
Or if it's less sensitive, then you can just pop it out onto YouTube. But mostly it will be sensitive data.
Yeah.
So you would link it to the video you just made, and essentially you've got a video. You've got you with your model on every single tab explaining the key features. I actually think it's just totally cool. I really do. But I just wanted to flag that to anyone that may see value in that, because I find it incredibly valuable.
Yeah, that's a good tip. Let me just, how do I, gosh, I'll just take a screenshot of this. Stick that in the notes. So yeah, so of course, and you can say, hey, here, how to learn more. So my question to you is that I do love video. And so I often, when I work with my team, I record video instructions for them and kind of send it to them. But what we started to see was that, obviously we're a small business, so things change fast, that videos were kind of hard. They were nearly impossible. You can't really update. So sometimes we would record additions, sometimes we would re-record it, and then we kind of gave up. So now my instructions are that, hey, when I send you a video, kind of write down at least the high-level steps and follow those steps instead of the video. So we got stuck there. So when you use in practice, has that been a challenge where it's like, well, we recorded a video, but now it's slightly out of date because we changed the report?
Well, that's a good question. And for me, at least, I used to use Camtasia. However, now I use the more recent version of Snagit. And that just makes it so much easier, where you can just blow out a video in literally 5 minutes. And therefore, if things change substantially 3 weeks from now, you're really just investing another 5 minutes and swapping
So,
the
hey,
video.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, I use the same tools, and yeah, I love Snagit, and my
That's
thing has
cool.
been, dude, don't make me edit, just just kind of record it and go. So yeah, kind of minimum viable product, and videos are great. So I did do the same where I would. And I don't think at that point maybe the link thing wasn't there or I'd never thought about it, but when I would build a solution for a client, I would record a video and kind of give it to them. They loved it. They always
Sure.
loved it. And
Totally.
yeah, they would share it with all the teams. Like, hey guys, here's a new report. Here's a video. Make sure you watch the video. So yeah, video was great. Awesome, man. Thanks for the tip. Okay, cool.
Yeah, no
So
worries.
we'll stay on the phone and see if somebody else has a question. Just speak up. That's the easiest. Oh, so Michael does have a question about the ultimate calendar table.
Yeah,
Let's see.
a simple question again.
Weekend was Sunday and Monday.
Yeah,
Ah.
yeah. I downloaded or copied your Ultimate Calendar 4 months ago, and I discovered that the weekend was Sunday and Monday. So I was able, and it was really good. I find for myself, I changed it to Saturday and Sunday, so solved myself the problem. But I wonder if it's
Let me
already
see.
good
Let
now.
me see what I have in my version, and of course it'll be another story to check if that one has been uploaded to the class area, and for the YouTube one. That one is publicly available. Okay, how do we do this? Weekday. So okay, I think I fixed it in my version. I'll double check if it's fixed on there. Okay, well,
They said,
thanks for the tip.
it's correct now. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right, folks. Let's. So I didn't hear. I'll come back to the phone if you guys think of something. Let's hit YouTube again. And you guys have been having a conversation. You don't even need me here. You're just here for the chat. No, just kidding. I'm here for you guys. Let's say. So if let's grab these two from V and J Murphy. Let's see if we can answer both of them. And let's do. And we're gonna go. So this is first question. How do we get year-to-date, quarter-to-date, month-to-date measures to change on the graph to only those time periods based on what the user wants to see? Very interesting. Okay, I'll show you what I have. I just to warn you, I may not be able to share it because obviously we keep some content for our class, but I'll show it to you. I'm hopeful that it'll kind of solve it for you, but I may not be able to give you the file. And oh boy, yeah. Let's take this one first. Tableau, I wouldn't know actually. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I don't usually hang out with the crowd. I sometimes do, but let's see. So. Will the new cost model of Tableau and the upcoming planned features for PBI in October push PBI ahead of Tableau? Well, oh boy, I actually didn't read the question. So this is not a race. This is not a race. Kind of like I'm not racing with Marco Russo, Alberto Ferrari. First of all, if I did, I would lose. But or Chris Webb or Matt Allington or any of these other experts in Power BI. Guys, this world is full of opportunities. How big is the primary business intelligence market? I don't have the numbers, but it's humongous, right? How big is the secondary market? Folks who kind of don't really call it BI but depend on it, use it. And how big is the potential to grow? I mean, it's mind-bogglingly big, right? It's so big. And obviously, I have struggled to come to terms with that. With Power BI, when Power BI was Power BI and now it's not Power BI anymore, you go to the summit, which I keep calling the Power BI summit. Nobody else calls it that because it's the business application summit. But I can't wrap my head around all that, right? I can't become an expert on Power Apps and Flow. And I have dedicated myself, guys, I'm going to be the Power BI kind of the modeling author guy. So I've carved my niche there and I'm going to focus on that. And yeah, so so same way, Tableau and Power BI. So here's the reality. Are you ready for this? So there's so many changes going on in the world, right? So we talk about mixed reality, right? So what do we have going on there? So we have kind of the HoloLens and all that stuff. And it's possible we live in that augmented world where we have glasses or something, or maybe implant in our eyes, and it'll be kind of this real world and digital world. Well, most organizations are going to have a kind of what I call the bring your own visualization. I think they would have to choose a modeling engine. It's hard to mix those, right? But let's say your model is XYZ, you should be able to choose your own visualization. And it's happening already. And this is what IT does. They don't recognize it. They don't open their eyes. They say, no, everybody uses this reports. Well, they don't. They hit export to Excel and create their own thing, right? So if IT opens their eyes, this is the reality already, where I see a Tableau shop, right? With a pocket of finance folks who are using Power BI on the fly. And they shouldn't have to do that in hiding. They shouldn't have to do this under the cover. This is silly. If they want to use Power BI as a visualization tool, sure, let them connect to your model and let them do it. And then I see Microsoft shops, which some advanced users, right, using Tableau. They should be empowered, even encouraged. Why not, right? So that is a reality already, and it's kind of inevitable certainly for medium to large organizations. That's what you should expect, that it's going to be a mix of tools. I do feel you got to pick your model, right? So model becomes a single source of truth, and everybody who's creating visualizations just connects to that, but they use what they want. They use Excel, they use SSRS, they use Power BI, they use Tableau, they use ClickView, whatever they want. Obviously, I mean, you don't have to have like 10, but you might end up with 2 or 3. So it's not a race. Nobody's. It's a humongous market and opportunity. And if anything, if there is a little bit of race feeling, I think that's good, because it helps the consumer, it spurs innovation, and all of that stuff. I really doubt Power BI would have been born if not for Tableau. I mean, you're right. I mean,
Avi, I heard or read somewhere that the Tableau is not working with a data model. It is one very big table. Is that right?
That's my understanding. Yeah, I don't know.
Or I heard it from you maybe in a video.
Yeah, and again, I haven't delved into Tableau. Jay Murphy, if you know, then help us out. So to me, Tableau looks like a flat file. Now they do have Tableau server as well, which I haven't worked with. Maybe the server does have what I call cube technology, and this is decades old now. Of course, it has been reimagined for Power BI in its many forms, right? So Power BI is Power BI desktop, it is Power BI.com, it is Power Pivot inside Excel, it is SSAS tabular, it is Azure Analysis Services. Oh my God, keep going on, right? And maybe I missed a 2 or something. So the old cube technology, decades old, has been reimagined. Tableau server, does it have cube? I'm not sure. Alex Powers, hey, I remember your name, my friend. Alex Powers, also known as, AKA, it's not about to sell, says Power Review RIP. Yeah, I have fond memories of that. I started off with that. Tableau. So Tableau, it's, if you look at the visualization, man. So I'm teaching a class at UW, and it's kind of unfortunate. I wish things weren't this way. There are in a certificate course which has 3 classes, and each class is like a few months. So each session, quarter, whatever. and now right now they're in the third class, and the first two classes are taught by like Tableau people. Tableau is Seattle based, and I all love for them and all, right? So, but they're so what is the word? Kind of entrenched, indoctrinated in Tableau, that even though in this third session we have tried to show them Power BI and all that stuff, if we give them an exercise, they go back to Tableau. But I will say that, man, some of the stuff from it looks stunning. So in general, wow. In general, so again, I think it has its place, and the way I see Tableau is a little bit. I mean, there's no verses, so I don't know. I don't want to put verses, although I did call my Power BI title that way because that's what people search for. So Tableau and Power BI, I feel a little bit, and you guys tell me if it feels that way, is kind of Apple and Android. And the reason that I say that is, think about the custom visual in Power BI. Very powerful. Opened up the platform, and now there's a lot of innovation there. There are like a lot of really amazing visuals. It just stuns you, right? So there's a lot of that stuff. But Tableau is more of a kind of that walled garden that Apple has, right? So, and we totally control what goes on inside. They don't have custom visuals, not yet. May never have it, right? But what they have is very intentional, designed very carefully. So and again, it's not about better or worse. It's frankly, I love having a choice in the marketplace that I can choose. And again, it's not like you have to pick one. You can have a mixed shop. You can have a mixed shop, Power BI and Tableau. But if you go back to this comparison, so Power BI Custom Visual is great, gives you a lot of options. But if you go in there and search for box and whisker, three different things pop up, and you're like, which one do I use? And then if one doesn't work, well, getting support can be hard. So you know what I'm saying, right? So a little bit of that. So, but yeah, I mean, it's all good. Cool. I don't want to dive too deep into it. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a religious discussion or something. Cool. Well, clearly you guys are really passionate about this. Yes. Oh, yeah. So J Murphy, right on. I do say, if you're using Excel, Power BI, and again, all of this is Power BI, right? Excel has Power BI built in, the modern Excel. It's so much easier. And people come to me like, oh, we have all of this stuff in Excel and we want to move to Power BI. And I tell them, that you can kind of do it, Power BI in Excel. So yeah, that's a great transition. And again, for beginning, just taking the first step is important. I should just paste his comment here. As you go through the journey, though, watch out for the M and DAX. Don't get too reliant on one. All right, cool. So Alex, the Learn Power BI family, we are 300 students strong now, 300 members strong across 25 different countries, and so they get a call-in number. I have thought about adding a call-in for Talk Power BI. So if you do want to join my family, you couldn't have timed it better, because enrollment opened yesterday on our Epic Day 5 Finish Over Challenge, and I opened the doors. And if you go to my website, learnpowerbi.com, there's right now the Day 5 replay is available there, and that shares with you all the information about joining my course. The enrollment closes this Thursday, so yeah, it's a small window, but hopefully you guys can make it. Awesome. So wait, I forgot who we took last. So we went on YouTube. Let's check back in with the phones. I know the crowd is thinning a little bit, but that's okay. So on the phones, do you have any question, any thought, any comment for me? Let's hear from somebody. Tony, talk to me, my friend. How are things with you? Or it's calling Tony. Okay, he's all right. Let's see. Joseph, how are you? Hey. Mike is live. No? Okay, they're ignoring me. Nah, just kidding. It's all right. Okay, cool. So, do we have anything else? So, phone seems quiet. chat. Let's do a last call then, my friends. And yeah, so gosh, I should have announced it earlier. Yeah, the course enrollment is open. I would love to see you, Power BI pioneers, as I call them, inside my course. It has been really incredible supporting these guys in this journey. All right, Alex Powers. Alex Powers is on, and what's he asking? Okay, I'm an MCSA, BI reporting, MCSA in Excel, and trying to be an Excel MVP. All I want is a phone number. Okay, that's great, my friend. That's pretty amazing. Trying to be an Excel MVP. Yeah, that it's kind of one of those, you know, weird things. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't have any like secret tips to become MVP. It's a little bit of a mystery to me. I mean, every year I know me and all the other MVPs were like, oh shit, are they going to renew us this year? I have no idea. You know, so yeah, it's always a little bit strange. I would say that, and I'll admit, you know what? Should I write it down? Why not? In case I come back to notice it. MVP. So when I left, so guys, I'll share a little bit of my story, which is, hold on. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I sometimes check, like, is somebody still watching? No, you guys are. Oops. So my story is that I lost my identity. I lost my identity when I lost my job at Washington Mutual, WAMU as it was called. So financial meltdown, and we become, you know, so you go around like, hey, I'm a business analyst at Microsoft. I mean, so what we do kind of becomes our identity, and that's not a surprise. I mean, we spend so much time there. But when I lost my job, it was so painful because, I mean, I felt so lost because, yeah, I mean, I felt like I was nothing. I was nobody, which was wrong, but I didn't realize that then. I couldn't pull myself out of that. So I really struggled. But it did teach me that lesson. So when I came out of that, I realized that I'm so much more. We're not what we do. We are so much more than that, so much bigger, and I don't want to forget that, all right? And I don't want you to forget that, right? So you're not what you do. We're so much bigger. And now, so I thought I had left that behind. I thought I had done that, and of course, so when I joined Microsoft and left Microsoft to pursue my dream, it was actually, I was surprised by how easy it was. I mean, it wasn't like easy. I mean, I still struggled. I missed my friends, and I'd been there a long time, and all that stuff. But still, I didn't have that identity struggle. It didn't feel like I'd lost my identity. I was okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm Avi, you know, because I had gone through this experience at Washington Mutual. So it taught me a lesson. But now, when I was thinking about around the MVP renewal, I was getting anxious, right? I was like, oh shoot, what if they don't renew it? Because a big part of my identity has become associated with that. Like, oh, I'm Avi, Power BI Pro, Microsoft MVP, right? So you get that. It's you go to the MVP summit, meet with the folks, like, oh yeah, man, you know, you get introduced that way. So it becomes our identity, and I'm like, I am a little bit afraid of losing it, right? So, but so again, it's not like you can hear something. Some lessons you don't learn them once, you learn them every day. So that's it for me. Bloody hell. All right, guys. We're not what we do. Cool. We'll end on that note. I'll see you guys next time. Next Friday, talk Power BI. Take care. Power on.
Thanks, Avi. Cheers. Bye-bye. Enjoy the weekend.
All right. Thanks, man. Bye.